and we're in Elementary Genocide Part 3 together. Okay, so we should be live on Facebook. All right, how's everybody doing today? Hotep, hey, this is Michael Imhotep, founder of the African History Network, host of the African History Network show. I'm a talk show host, researcher, lecturer, and writer. So we should be live on our Facebook fan page, the African History Network. And I'm live on my Instagram page, Michael Imhotep. I don't think I've broadcasted on Instagram live before. I just don't use Instagram a whole lot, but I'm gonna start using it more. People are telling me I need to use it more. Okay, so it is Sunday, May 19th, 2019. All right. This is Malcolm X's 95th birthday. So you see me wearing my Malcolm X t-shirt. You see Malcolm behind me also. So Malcolm is one of my heroes. People that know me know this. But I want to talk about this story, this breaking news story. I first found out about it a little while ago towards the end of Joanne Reed's show, AM Joy, which ended at noon. And Dr. Jason Johnson talked about this. So Black billionaire Robert F. Smith, who's worth over $4 billion. He was the commencement speaker today for Morehouse College. Now, for those that don't know, we know Morehouse is a historically Black college and university for African-American men, okay? And he was the commencement speaker, and he announced during his commencement speech that he was going to pay off the debt that graduating class owed to the college. He was going to pay it off, okay? So I want to look at two stories that talk about this. And this is something fantastic. I haven't heard of anyone doing this before for a graduating class. And he's a Black billionaire. There are only a handful of Black billionaires in the country right now. Oprah, Michael Jordan, Robert F. Smith. Robert F. Smith is not as well known. He is low key, okay? And sometimes when I first found out about Robert F. Smith a few years ago from Black Enterprise, because I've been reading Black Enterprise for years, going back to college when I was in business school. And sometimes when I post articles about Robert F. Smith, you'll get one or two little snide remarks saying, oh, he's married to a white woman. Okay, well, how many Black people you know married to a Black woman, or a Black woman married to a Black man who's done what he just did? So, I'm all for African-American men marrying African-American women. Okay, notice what I said. I'm all for African-American men marrying African-American women. I'm all for that, believe in that, okay? But at the same time, I don't attack people, who may marry somebody else. I don't attack them. Now, if they only date outside of their race and they don't like dating, African-American women or men, then that's a problem. All right. But, my thing is, I want to know how Robert F. Smith made billions of dollars. He's worth over $4 billion. I want to know how he made the money. Okay. I know how to find a sister. I want to know how he made billions of dollars. That's what I want to find out. Okay. So let's look at this here. And we're broadcasting on our Facebook fan page. Those watching on Facebook, post the name of your African-American business on the thread of the broadcast. We'll let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network also. Okay, email us at customerservice@africanhistorynetwork.com, customerservice@africanhistorynetwork.com. All right, so I want to show you two articles here. One is from shopblack.com. One is from an African-American news source, and one is from a white news source, okay? Notice the difference in the headlines, okay? Let's flip over to this. Let me turn the screen share on. And let me see, hold on. We're doing this through Google Chrome. All right. Okay, so let's see here. Let's turn the screen share on and let me set this up correctly. Okay, right here. I want to show you the two articles, and will it let me do this on? Okay, so I have to bring it up in I have to bring it up in Firefox. All right. So let's look at the first article from WSBTV. And this is a local news station, and I'm not sure which city it is. Okay. And then I'm going to show you the article from Shop Black also. I don't know who that is calling me right now when I'm broadcasting. Okay. All right. Send me a text message. Okay, so the article from Shop Black, and I'm pulling it up, pulling it back up now here. Just bear with me here because I'm flipping through different tabs. All right, so let's turn the screen share on for you. All right, so here we have this here. So we have the article from WSB-TV in Atlanta. Okay, Morehouse commencement speaker to pay off class of 2019 student loans. Morehouse commencement speaker to pay off class of 2019's student loans. All right. So this is Robert F. Smith here. You see the picture of him, African-American man. Okay. But in the title, now this is a white news outlet. It's a white TV station in Atlanta. They don't tell the name. They don't give the man's name. They don't say he's a billionaire. Okay. Very interesting. How many commencement speakers have you heard of any race who's done this? Okay. So now let's look at the article from Shop Black. Okay, shopblack.com. And let me make sure the screen share is still on. Okay. Okay, so if we look at the article from shopblack.com, they show Robert F. Smith, show the same picture, but look at the difference in the headline. Billionaire Robert F. Smith to pay off Morehouse class of 2019 student loans. So right in the title, they let you know he's a billionaire, and they show a picture of an African-American man. Billionaire Robert F. Smith to pay off Morehouse class of 2019 student loans. Also, they put his name there. Okay, and this is something that I notice oftentimes when you have oftentimes when you have white publications that deal with African Americans, right? I notice this, white publications will do this, white news outlets will do this with April Ryan. They'll say White House journalist or journalist asked this question about to Donald Trump, but they don't put her name, April Ryan. And see, this is a way of delegitimizing people. When you don't put the name of the person, you just say, let's go back and look at the one from WSB-TV, okay, Atlanta. This is a news station in Atlanta, Channel 2. Morehouse commencement speaker to pay off class of 2019 student loans. You don't say he's a billionaire, and you don't have his name there. So let's look at these articles, right? Billionaire, now the first headline, the first line, it says he's a billionaire, but doesn't say that in the headline. Billionaire Robert F. Smith, who received an honorary doctorate at Morehouse College's Sunday morning graduation exercises, had already announced a $1.5 million gift to the school. And I know Black Enterprise had reported on that also. But during, give a second here. Okay, but during his remarks in front of the nearly 400 graduating seniors, the billionaire technology investor and philanthropist surprised some by announcing that his family was providing a grant to eliminate the student debt of the entire class of 2019. Robert F. Smith said, "This is my class, and I know my class will pay this forward." Now, the announcement excited the biggest cheers of the morning, okay? It went on to say, the article goes on to say, Tonga Relaford, Releford, whose son Charles Relaford III is a member of the class of 2019, estimates that his student loans are right at about $70,000. Okay, his mother said, "I feel like it's Mother's Day all over again." Now the gift has been estimated at $40 million. The gift has been estimated at $40 million. Okay, let me turn the screen share off. The gift has been estimated at $40 million. Tonga's husband, Charles Relaford III, is also a Morehouse graduate. He said their younger son, Colin, is a junior at Morehouse. He doesn't know who the keynote speaker will be at Colin's graduation ceremony, but is hoping for a return performance by Robert F. Smith, okay? I think they probably want Robert F. Smith to come back every year. Now, there was a college, and then now we're gonna go to the coverage from Shop Black. I'm gonna give you some background information on Robert F. Smith also. So there was a college I was reading today that had Vice President Mike Pence as their keynote, as their commencement speaker, okay? And there are about 500 graduating seniors, a fraction of them, maybe 10%, and their parents walked out on him because of his support of Trump's policies, okay? What colleges and universities have to start doing is finding out from those who are graduating who they want as a commencement speaker. Some colleges do that, but others don't. I remember, I think it was Howard University a couple years ago. They had former FBI Director James Comey as their commencement speaker. What the hell? Why the hell would you have James Comey as the commencement speaker? Now, if I remember correctly, he had a position on the board and all that. So what? And there were a lot of graduating seniors who were upset with that. You should take a poll of the graduating seniors to find out who they would like as their commencement speaker. They're the ones graduating. It's not the faculty that's graduating. It's not the president graduating. The commencement is not for the faculty. It's for those that pay tuition and are graduating. Therefore, the commencement speaker at their graduation should be somebody that they want to hear from. So he doesn't know. So Charles Relaford III is also a Morehouse graduate. He doesn't know who the keynote speaker will be at his son Colin's graduation ceremony, but is hoping for a return performance by Robert F. Smith. Charles Relaford III said maybe he'll come back next year. Okay, so that's the coverage from the white news outlet. Okay. And I'm glad they're covering this story, but it'd be nice to put the brother's name in the headline. I mean, he and his family spending $40 million. How much money does a black man have to spend for his name to be in the headline of a white news outlet? I'm just asking. So let's look at the black news outlet, shopblack.us, shopblack.us, and let's post the links here on the thread of the broadcast here on Facebook to the articles. All right, let's post this here. Hopefully it's the right thread I'm posting this on. Yeah, it is. Okay, how's everybody doing? If you like this type of information, you could donate to the African History Network, paypal.me/the AHN show, paypal.me/the AHN show. That helps us to keep doing the research, stay on the air, finance our Sunday night show, pay the bills, etc. paypal.me/the AHN show, or at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Click on the yellow donate button. And African American business owners, post the name of your business here on the thread of the broadcast. Email us at customerservice@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Customerservice@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We'll let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network. A current promotion, get 3 months for the price of 1. And we have a couple new advertisers also to tell you about. Okay, Ojari, Belinda, Carl, how's everybody doing today? Okay, and once again, this is Malcolm X's birthday also. Okay, so let's look at the article from Shop Black. Billionaire Robert F. Smith, who received an honorary doctorate at Morehouse College's Sunday morning graduation exercises, had already announced a $1.5 million gift to the school. Okay, let's see, on Twitter on May 19th, 10:44 a.m., Morehouse College posted, quote, "My family is going to create a grant to eliminate your student loans," end quote, Robert F. Smith told the graduating class of 2019. Now, but during his remarks in front of the nearly 400 graduating seniors, the billionaire technology investor and philanthropist surprised some by announcing that his family was providing a grant to eliminate the student debt of the entire 2019 class. All right, let me turn up the volume here. I'm trying to monitor. Okay, of the 2019 class. He said, quote, "This is my class, and I know my class will pay this forward." Okay, now the announcement elicited the biggest cheers of the morning. Okay, and they picked up this story from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution also. Okay, and it looks like the Channel 2 outlet in Atlanta probably picked it up, possibly from Atlanta Journal-Constitution as well. Let's look at the article from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. So when we look at the article from Atlanta Journal-Constitution, let me show you this article also. I think they are a white publication, Atlanta Journal-Constitution. They don't have his name in the headline. I don't understand this. Just in, Morehouse commencement speaker to pay off class of 2019's student loans. Okay. Well, why don't you put his name? I just find that very interesting. I've been studying media for 27 years. So I pay attention to those slights that take place against African Americans in the white controlled media. Okay, let's continue here. All right, so let's look at this article written by Bo Emerson. Billionaire Robert F. Smith, who received an honorary doctorate at Morehouse College's Sunday morning graduation exercises, had already announced a $1.5 million gift to the school. Okay, blah, blah, blah. This is redundant. It's like they just copied the same article. Okay, looks like the other ones, they cited the article from Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Okay, that's redundant. Let's look at an article from 2018 from blackenterprise.com to get some background information on Robert F. Smith. Now, blackenterprise.com, African-American owned and operated, founded by Earl Graves in the 1970s, and his son Butch Graves runs it now. September 24th, 2018, blackenterprise.com had this article, Black Billionaire Robert F. Smith just made another $3 billion sale, just made another $3 billion with sale to Adobe, okay? We'll turn the screen share on. I want you to see this article. This is why African-American media matters. This is why African-American controlled and operated media matters. The way they cover the story, the way we cover these stories, and I'm a member of the media, I have a press pass. I do radio here in Detroit, even though the radio station is not African-American owned, it's geared towards African-Americans. Now, my show is the African History Network show. So who you think is geared towards? Okay. I will show you my press pass, but it's in my backpack because my stuff is, I'm packing to do my show tonight. All right. So let's look at this article here from blackenterprise.com. Okay. Let's turn the screen share on. I want you to see the difference here. Now, this is from blackenterprise.com, September 24th, 2018. Black billionaire Robert F. Smith just made another $3 billion with sale to Adobe. So they're letting you know right off the bat, wait a second, he's black and he's a billionaire. So right there, he's not a rapper. He didn't play basketball. He didn't have a TV show. I'm not knocking Oprah. Okay, Oprah, we need to study Oprah. I know, she interviewed the people that did the Michael Jackson documentary and disagree, and people talk about Oprah. Most people talk about Oprah don't have nowhere near Oprah's money, okay? And Oprah focuses on owning everything that she gets involved in. Okay, so their thing, you know, I focus on studying people who are more successful than me. I may disagree with things here and there, but damn, I mean, come on now. All right, so Black billionaire Robert F. Smith just made another $3 billion with sale to Adobe. All right, this is blackenterprise.com. All right, let's look at this article here. Let's turn the screen share off. Okay. And those watching on Instagram, if you want to watch on Facebook, you can watch on Facebook, The African History Network on Facebook, The African History Network on Facebook, okay? All right, Vista Equity, the private equity firm launched by Black billionaire and engineer Robert F. Smith. So if he's an engineer, doesn't it sound like he went to college? If he's an engineer, right? See, now the athletes and the entertainers, the Dr. Dre's and all this, I'm not knocking them, but notice how they get more press coverage. Robert F. Smith is worth more than Oprah. I'm not knocking Oprah. Robert F. Smith is worth more than Oprah. His name is not a household name, okay? Vista Equity, the private equity firm launched by Robert F. Smith, okay? And I'm trying to share this on my personal page also, so just give me a second here. The way Facebook has made some changes, so you can't, it doesn't make it easy for you to share from your fan page to your personal page. Okay, Black billionaire and engineer Robert F. Smith announced it is selling a cloud service company it purchased in 2016, Marketo, M-A-R-K-E-T-O, to Adobe for $4.7 billion. Now, I posted articles about this move he made when it happened. This was from September of 2018. This is a move he made. I'm sitting here looking at this. I think Financial Juneteenth.com had an article about this because they had a couple of articles about Robert F. Smith. I'm sitting here, man. I'm like, wait a second. This brother sold this cloud service company to Adobe for $4.7 billion. They need to make a movie about him. Now, in May of 2016, Vista Equity, which is the private equity firm launched by Black billionaire Robert F. Smith, purchased Marketo for $1.8 billion, reports Forbes, okay? His private equity firm purchased Marketo for $1.8 billion in 2016. In 2018, September or so, 2018, they sold it for $4.7 billion. Now, unlike Donald Trump, Robert F. Smith is a real billionaire. I'm just saying. Unlike Donald Trump, Robert F. Smith is a real billionaire. Now, within 3 years, Marketo's revenue grew over $100 million under Robert F. Smith's leadership. Now, Adobe, okay, we know Adobe PDF, right? Adobe Illustrator. There's software suites. Adobe, a leading provider of graphics and video software and services, will incorporate Marketo into its Adobe Experience Cloud platform. According to a press release, the acquisition will enable Adobe to, quote, offer an unrivaled set of solutions for delivering transformative customer experiences across industries and companies of all sizes, okay? Of all sizes. The imperative, and somebody else trying to call me, hold on. Send me a text message. All right, quote, the imperative for marketers across all industries is a laser focus on providing relevant, personalized, and engaging experiences, said Brad Rencher, Executive Vice President and General Manager of Digital Experience at Adobe. Okay, quote, the acquisition of Marketo widens Adobe's lead in customer experience across B2C and B2B, business to business, and puts Adobe Experience Cloud at the heart of all marketing. All right. Now, Vista has used acquisitions to help it grow immensely. Vista Equity, okay? In November 2016, Vista Equity purchased Cvent, C-V-E-N-T, Cvent Inc., a Tyson's Corner, Virginia leading cloud-based enterprise event management firm for $1.65 billion. These are moves Robert F. Smith is making. He's not a household name. Most people don't know him. In September 2015, Vista announced plans to buy Solera Holdings in a $6.5 billion deal that included debt. Solera offers software to insurance and car companies. In November 2018, Vista announced its acquisition of Datto, D-A-T-T-O, a leading provider of business data protection solutions. The acquisitions are among many big deals made by Vista Equity's founder, chairman, and CEO, Black billionaire Robert F. Smith. He has compiled mass wealth by buying companies in the technology space. Robert F. Smith ranked number 226 on Forbes 400 richest list with a net worth of $3.3 billion. But I think that 3.3 billion, that was before he sold Marketo for 4.7 billion, which according to the headlines, netted him $3 billion from that one sale. So he was worth 3.3 billion before he made that additional 3 billion. Now, Vista Equity ranks number 1 on the 2018 Black Enterprise BE 100 list of the nation's largest Black-owned private equity firms. Man, I'm telling you, see, I want to know how he made that. That's what I want to know. You know, if he married an African-American woman, yeah, I like that, but I ain't gonna beat up on him because he didn't. I want to know how he made this money. I know how to find a sister. I don't have no control over what he does. I want to know how he made billions of dollars. Okay, so we'll post this link here also on the thread of our broadcast as well. But I find it interesting the way different news outlets structure their headlines, okay? And those just tuning in, I talked about how WSB TV in Atlanta, a white news outlet, and how Atlanta Journal-Constitution, I think Atlanta Journal-Constitution is a white news outlet as well, even though they're in Atlanta. They didn't mention his name in the headline. Well, we look at Shop Black, shopblack.us, they mentioned his name in the headline, and their headline was Billionaire Robert Smith to pay off Morehouse Class of 2019 student loans. Okay. All right, let's see here. Let's look at some of your comments here quickly. And then, okay, post your comments here. We'll come to some of your comments and let's pull that up there. Okay, we'll come to some of your comments. And we have a couple new advertisers with us. You know, it's 2019 and it's time to get your financial house in order. Certified financial planner Martisha Patterson can help you with that. She has 19 years of experience in the industry. She is helping people just like you focus on and achieve your goals. If you need help with budgeting, creating that monthly financial plan, saving for emergencies or retirement, if you want to start investing but don't know where to start, she can help you with that. She will develop a plan tailored to your specific needs. Visit her website, pattersonplans17.com, pattersonplans17.com, okay? And she can definitely help you. And then also, we know that people are trying to get in shape. The summer is coming. People are trying to get in shape. The Fast Life 28-day challenge can help you with this, okay? Visit their website, tfl28.com, tfl28.com. The Fast Life 28-day challenge. Imagine what your health could look like after 28 days of a structured fasting regimen, healthy habits, and 3 coaches holding you accountable on a daily basis. Here's your chance to move from imagination to realization. Now, the Fast Life 28-day challenge, the TFL 28, is an online coaching program to help members tap into their body's natural ability to repair itself via fasting. In this challenge, we focus on utilizing fasting, whole foods, and movement to improve metabolic conditions, okay? And they can help you lose weight, lose inches off of your waist, increase energy, improve blood sugars and blood pressure readings, conquer food addiction and cravings. Visit their website, tfl28.com. They have a new cohort of this 4-week 28-day challenge. They have a new cohort starting up soon, tfl28.com. All right, let's look at some of your comments here. Let's see, let's go here. tfl28.com. Okay, Martisha Patterson, how you doing, Martisha? Chandra Johnson, wow, that's amazing. Now, what's amazing, Chandra? Okay, we have, who else we have here? Quentin Mason, I follow him on Instagram, and he doesn't even have a lot of followers for someone that's a billionaire. Yeah, Quentin, you know, Robert F. Smith is very low key. Now, another African-American man that's very wealthy, I don't know I know he's a multimillionaire, is Michael Roberts. Michael Roberts. We're in the Black Friday documentaries together from director Rick Mathis, and we've been on a panel discussion before also at the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History. And Michael Roberts talks about how rich people yell and wealthy people whisper. So he says, like, you know, Michael Roberts talks about how, you know, most people don't know my name. I'm not a household name. I'm not in the media, a lot of things like this. And he talks about how rich people yell and wealthy people whisper. Okay, Emeka says, sounds like Black Bill Gates. Julian said, what I want to know is if he provides a living wage, good insurance, and a good retirement plan for his employee. I'm pretty sure, man, you have a technology company like that, you ain't paying $10 an hour. I'm pretty sure they do. Okay, John Ray, how you doing? How you doing, John Ray? Visit John Ray's website, workingwithjohnray.com, workingwithjohnray.com also, because John Ray can help teach you about income shifting. And income shifting takes your money back from those who are taking it from you, and that adds up to thousands of dollars saved each year, workingwithjohnray.com. All right, let's see who else we have. Alta, are you reporting or reading someone else's article? I'm doing both. If you actually follow my reporting, they cited the article from Atlanta Journal-Constitution. I'm reporting and giving commentary and giving background information. This is what they do. If you actually understand what takes place, you have news organizations that cite other news organizations, and then they discuss the story. And I provided the articles here for you also. So after this broadcast, you can go back and read them. Okay, Kevin, white-owned media doing what they do. Yes. Willie said, okay, Willie's in Arkansas, West Arkansas. Willis, now this source of black excellence is in this. This source of black excellence is as aspiring as it gets. Greg said we have to stop comparing successful black people to successful white people. Successful black people stand alone among us. All right. Yeah, okay. Quentin said Atlanta Journal-Constitution is right on. Yeah, I'll read some articles from Atlanta Journal-Constitution. I monitor about 35 different news sources on a daily basis. So yeah, I read some articles from Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and I got the impression that they are white-owned media. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying their headline on this story was bad, you know, but I do read some articles from them. I read Washington Post and New York Times every day also. The story definitely needs to be shared. Ajari said, Deshaun, peace and light family. Okay. Belinda, okay. Belinda says she's doing good as well. All right. So share this story. Share this broadcast on your Facebook page. Invite your friends to watch it. And these are things we need to teach our children about. Now, there are four. Now, so he has a background in engineering. He's an engineer. He wasn't born a billionaire. Robert F. Smith, he wasn't born a billionaire. There are 4 million available jobs right now in the STEM field: science, technology, engineering, and math. Science, technology, engineering, and math. 4 million available jobs. And what Robert F. Smith did was built a business empire. He built it's not just one business. He built a business empire around his core competency, around technology. Okay. So when our children go to school and get their degrees and they go off and work in corporate America, for many of them, their goal should be to go get experience, work 5 to 7 years, break away, start your own business. Or they may start a business on the side while they're still working, because some people have to do that just based upon the disparity, the wealth disparity for African-American families. $17,000 on average wealth of an African-American family compared to $171,000 for a white family based upon 2016 numbers. Some African-Americans have to build that business up to the point where it can afford them as an employee. It can afford to pay them a salary. Okay, if you're getting health insurance, you have children who may be special needs, you have a spouse who may have had a heart attack, things like this. Because of the type of health insurance that you have at your job, you may not be able to break away. You know, different things have to be weighed. It's not a cookie cutter. You know, this is why I tell people, you know, a lot of people talk about quit your job and start a business. I'm like, are you crazy? For Black people, are you crazy? I mean, 95% of African-American owned businesses don't have any employees. It's just the owner or owners. About 80% of Black owned businesses go out of business in the first 2 years. I mean, what are you talking about? That's that stuff. It sounds good in documentaries and on talk shows, but in reality, no, that's ridiculous. You start your business while you're working. And also, I've seen it happen where you had a group of entrepreneurs. It was 3 principal owners. One was one of my former college professors from Wayne State, who I ended up working for. He and 2 of his business partners, they had a business. All 3 of them were working in corporate America or teaching, in his case. And they hired a general manager who was one of his relatives to run the day-to-day operations of the business while they're still working, getting a full paycheck. So there are different ways to work this. We have to understand that. In my book, 2 checks are better than 1. Okay, Quentin, said we can't afford to make the same mistake. Yeah, we can't afford to make the same mistakes either. You know, all that stuff sounds good. And here's the other thing. See, my degree's in business administration with a major in marketing. So I ain't talking about stuff I read in a book. I'm talking about what I've actually done. Okay. I managed a business consulting company for 7 years. And at the same time, I was managing a janitorial service company as well. And we had government contracts. We had contracts. We had county contracts. And for training, we had state of Michigan contracts also. So Quentin said we can't afford to make the same mistakes. You're absolutely correct, because mistakes cost money. Mistakes cost money. This is why I encourage African-American entrepreneurs, before you start a business, take at least one entrepreneurship class. Go to a local community college. Usually the credit hours at a community college are substantially less than they are at a university. Take an entry-level entrepreneurship class. It's going to help you out immensely, okay? And it can save you thousands of dollars. It can keep you from going out of business. It can keep you from possibly going bankrupt. We don't have the luxury of being able to make the same mistakes. Watch shows like the Shark Tank. The Shark Tank is a really good show on ABC. I think it's ABC, the Shark Tank. Because I know they're showing on CNBC. Watch the Shark Tank. And if you notice on the Shark Tank, you'll have businesses, they have a fantastic idea, never seen anything like this before. Oh, it's going to revolutionize everything, right? So after they do their pitch, you know, Damon Johns will talk about the valuation of the business. How do you value the business? And then they get into the numbers. Then you find out that the owners are not taking a salary. Now, most of the people on Shark Tank are white. And they have capital. They have more money to invest in the business than most African-American businesses have to start. Their revenues are much higher. They could be doing $500,000 a year, $1 million a year, $2 million a year. And then you find out the owners are not taking a salary. They're reinvesting everything in the business, and they have to pay their employees. They have to have cash on hand. They have to have operating capital. They have to be able to pay suppliers, pay vendors. So the reality of entrepreneurship, of business ownership, is different than the documentaries and the textbooks. Half that stuff they teach you when we look at now, a lot of times the entrepreneurship classes that are taught are more relevant than some of the things that you learn in the general business school classes. Because half that stuff they teach you in the business school, half that stuff doesn't even work like that in the real world. When we look at entrepreneurship classes, they really need to be tailored to African Americans. Even if it's not tailored to African Americans, there's still things you can learn. But one of the reasons why blackenterprise.com is so important is because that is specifically for African Americans. So when I taught entrepreneurship, and when we taught entrepreneurship through the training company, we taught it specifically for African Americans. Entrepreneurship for us is entirely different. Because see, many of us are coming from households, and we're coming from parents, we're coming from families and we're first generation entrepreneurs. We don't have that legacy. We didn't grow up with our parents owning a business. So for us, entrepreneurship is entirely different than it is for other people who grew up owning a business, and their father owned a mechanic shop, and their brother owned a bakery, and their aunt owned a hair salon, and all types of things like this. Okay, so for us, it's entirely different, and then we have to take into account a history of African Americans, and many of us not understanding our history and not understanding the history of the co-ops and cooperative economics. Because when you read this book here, Collective Courage by Dr. Jessica Gordon Nimhard, this book deals with the history of African American co-ops going back to slavery. Things like the Free African Society of 1787, founded in 1787. Collective Courage, Dr. Jessica Gordon Nimhard. I interviewed this sister back in about 2000. What year was that I interviewed her? About 2014, I think it was, something like that. A history of African American cooperative economic thought and practice. And what she talks about is how this is how we were able to survive. It was from the co-ops. It was from cooperative economics. It was the mutual aid societies that helped raise money to bury people. It was the mutual aid societies that helped raise money during slavery to buy people out of slavery. Okay, this concept of the co-ops we brought with us from Africa. That's an African concept. You look at the West African concept of the susu, okay, which is an investment type structure, and it lends money out to people who are in that group who want to start businesses or needs money. That's a West African concept, the susu. We see things like that practiced amongst Jamaicans and Haitians, those coming from Ghana, and say those coming from West Africa. Okay, so her book, and there's some articles, I've done some broadcasts in the past that talk about Dr. Jessica Gordon Nimhart. But what happened was that, and one of them was the Colored Merchants Association, founded about 1928, 1929, created by the National Business League. National Business League founded in 1900 by Booker T. Washington. The Colored Merchants Association was designed, it was a co-op designed to help African-American grocery store owners in the early 1920s better compete against the rise of the white chain store grocery stores, the AMPs, the Kresge's, things like this, okay? And they helped them with marketing. They helped them with better accounting practices. They helped them to buy in bulk so they get economies of scale, all right? And what Dr. Jessica Gordon Nimhart talks about is oftentimes when we organized these co-ops, we were attacked, okay? We were attacked by the bigots and the racists, things like this, right? And some of those co-ops had to disband. One of them, one of the largest ones, was the Colored Farmers Association, founded about 1896 in Texas, if I remember correctly. That was one of the oldest ones, okay? And they had over 1 million members, okay? And they ended up having to, they only lasted about 5 years. Okay, they had to disband. Colored Farmers Association, I think is what it was. I know Atlanta BlackStar.com, Colored Farmers National Alliance and Cooperative Union. Yeah, Colored Farmers National Alliance and Cooperative Union. I think that's the one it was. That was founded about 1896. And there's an article from AtlantaBlackStar.com that talks about 5 examples of cooperative economics, okay? And the 5 historic examples of cooperative economics. The Colored Farmers Union is one of them that's talked about in there. The SUSU system is talked about, and they quote Dr. W.B. Du Bois. Dr. W.B. Du Bois said, quote, "There exists today a chance for Blacks to organize a cooperative state within their own group, okay? By letting Negro farmers feed Negro artisans and Negro technicians guide Black home industries, and Black thinkers plan this integration of cooperation, while Black artists dramatize and beautify the struggle. Economic independence can be achieved." This is Dr. W.B. Du Bois. Economic independence can be achieved, okay? To doubt that this is possible is to doubt the essential humanity and the quality of the brains of Black people, okay? So this is Dr. W.B. Du Bois. People think that, you know, even though he was a bit of an elitist, people think, you know, he wasn't for economic empowerment and things like this. No, he was. And Booker T. Washington was for economic empowerment also. They were just dealing with, they were dealing with white supremacy and racism, but they were dealing with, in many ways, 2 different realities. Because Booker T. Washington was in Alabama, and Booker T. Washington was a former slave, and Dr. W.B. Du Bois was up north in Massachusetts, and he was born to free parents. He wasn't of slave ancestry, okay? He was born to free parents. All right, I'm trying to see if I have, let me see, I had a bunch of articles dealing with this topic. I'm trying to see if I can put my hands on them. But anyway, we have this. So this article talks about the Susu system. In parts of West Africa and the Caribbean, an ancient version of cooperative economics exists called Susu, S-U-S-U, as one of the oldest forms of microfinance in Africa. The practice is run by one of Africa's oldest financial groups, Susu collectors. They run their businesses from kiosks in the marketplace and act as mobile bankers. Clients make low but regular deposits on a daily or weekly basis over the course of a month into a Susu account. At the end of this period, the Susu collector returns the accumulated savings to the client, but keeps one day's savings as commission. Susu collectors may also provide advances to their clients or rotate the accumulated deposits of a group between individual members. Today, Susu collectors provide many West Africans who would otherwise be denied credit with access to money. They need to start up small venture projects that in many cases benefit the community as a whole. In the United States, Black immigrants from the Caribbean have enjoyed one of the highest economic group rates using a form of the Susu and leveraging this practice to establish successful credit unions, okay? So largely they're not going to white banks to get the money. What happened was, and Dr. Jessica Gordon Nimhard talked about this as well, and I experienced this. So a lot of us went to white business schools, or we went to HBCUs and were taught white business principles. And we were not talked about the history of African Americans and cooperative economics. So then we tried to utilize these white business principles in the African American community, and largely they didn't work. I mean, you may have it here and there that work, but see, what cooperative economics, for cooperative economics to work, Black people had to cooperate. So when you move away from cooperative economics, which is an African principle, you move to the capitalistic white business principles that largely didn't work for the African American community. All right, let's see who we have here. Quentin, Marcus Garvey, and Marcus Garvey is one of the examples they talk about here dealing with cooperative economics, and we know that Elijah Muhammad was a member of the UNIA, Universal Negro Improvement Association. Okay, we know that. Okay, we're going to stop broadcasting on Instagram in about 18 seconds. So those watching on Instagram, go to my Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network, watch us there, or on my personal page, Michael Imhotep, I-M-H-O-T-E-P. All right, thanks for watching on Instagram. Peace. At 9 p.m. tonight, okay? Let's see here, gotta share that. All right, so, and if we look at, let's look at the one dealing with the Colored Farmers Association. Just a second, let's try to go to this. All right, and also if you like this type of information, you can donate to the African History Network, paypal.me/the AHN show, paypal.me/the AHN show, okay? If you have or you can go to our website, africanhistorynetwork.com, if you want to donate $10, $15, $25, $50, $100 or more. You can set it up also for a recurring donation as well. All right, how you doing, Kim? Okay, so let's look at the, I'm waiting for this to load up here. Okay, colored merchants, so they have the Colored Merchants Association, that's one. I wanted to look at the Colored Farmers Association. Okay, so we have Marcus Garvey. So in 1914, Marcus Garvey founded the Universal Negro Improvement Association. So it started out in Jamaica. Then he immigrates to the US in 1916 and starts setting up chapters. This was the largest movement across territorial borders among the African peoples during the 20th century. By the early 1920s, the UNIA could count branches in almost every Caribbean, Latin America, and sub-Saharan African country, with membership swelling to, according to them, 8 million. Internationally. Under Garvey's leadership, the UNIA encouraged entrepreneurship, attracted millions of Black people to buying from Black-owned businesses. Established in 1919, the Negro Factories Corporation, one of the UNIA's ventures, with a capitalization of $1 million, sought to build and operate factories in the big industrial centers of the United States. In the United States, Central America, the West Indies, and Africa. It generated income and provided about 700 jobs by its numerous enterprises: 3 grocery stores, 2 restaurants, a laundromat, a tailor shop, a dressmaking shop, a printing company, and a doll factory, because Marcus Garvey was making Black dolls for Black children so they can see themselves reflected in the dolls. Now incorporated in Delaware as a domestic corporation on June 27, 1919, the Black Star Line Inc. was capitalized at $10 million. It sold shares individually valued at $5 to both UNIA members and non-members. Proceeds from stock sales were used to purchase ships to facilitate the transportation of goods and eventually African Americans throughout the African global economy. Let me see here. I'm trying to get to the Colored Merchants Association. And let me see, I have a stack of articles dealing with this topic also. Let me move these books over here. Yeah, so here we have the Colored Farmers. Colored Farmers National Alliance and Cooperative Union. So the Colored Farmers National Alliance and Cooperative Union was formed in 1886 in Texas, 1886. Despite the fact that both Black and white farmers faced great difficulties due to the rising price of farming and the decreasing profits that were coming from farming, the protective organization known as the Southern Farmers Alliance did not allow Black farmers to join, okay? So the protective organization was for the white farmers, called the Southern Farmers Alliance. It did not allow African-American farmers to join. Now, a group of African-American farmers decided to organize their own alliance to fill their need. The Colored Farmers National Alliance and Cooperative Union operated under fear, okay, and harassment by white farmers, but managed to operate several cooperatives in the late 19th century before having to disband, okay? Now, members of the CFACU shared agricultural techniques and innovations and coordinated cooperative efforts for planting and harvesting. The union promoted alliances between farmers and laborers and was active in local and regional politics in order to maintain rights for African Americans after Reconstruction. So Reconstruction ends in 1877, okay? Reconstruction ends in 1877. Civil War ends June 2nd, 1865. And you have the ratification of the 13th Amendment in December of 1865. Now, it is estimated that the Colored Farmers National Alliance and Cooperative Union had 1.2 million members and was the largest Black organization of its time, okay? So these are things that Dr. Jessica Gordon Nembhard talks about in her book, Collective Courage. Collective Courage, a history of African-American cooperative economic thought and practice. And let me see here, let's look at page 53, I think it is, 56. Colored Farmers National Alliance. let's see. Yeah, as the earlier populist organizations disbanded and went underground, the Colored Farmers National Alliance and Cooperative Union began to pull together grassroots efforts and form a network of regional and national organizations. Like the mutual aid societies, many were connected with and relied on churches, okay? Like the mutual aid societies, many were connected with and relied on churches. The first Negro Alliance was organized in Arkansas in 1882. Members of local chapters shared agricultural techniques and innovations and coordinated cooperative efforts for planting and harvesting. Similarly, in Macon, Georgia, at a meeting of 350 African Americans, Reverend Love, L-O-V-E, offered a resolution to form, quote, cooperative associations, cooperative farms, and storehouses, end quote. Officially founded by J.J. Shuffer, H.L. Spencer, and R.M. Humphrey in 1886 in Houston County, Texas. The Colored Farmers National Alliance and Cooperative Union spread to establish chapters in every state in the South. In March of 1888, the Alliance held its first national meeting in Lovelady, Texas. The CFNACU consolidated several Black-focused agrarian organizations dealing with agriculture in the South. The Colored Agricultural Wheels was one organization, the Knights of Labor, the Cooperative Workers of America, and the Florida Farmers Union. And they organized all these organizations into a regional coalition. Quote, the focus of these early groups was on relief through collectivizing resources, and collective bargaining through boycotts and strikes. So they're leveraging their collective power and they're redistributing the pain through economic boycotts and labor strikes. Now, by 1981, the CFNACU boasted a membership of more than 1 million, though according to one source, the alliance, quote, had 1.25 million members, making it the largest ever organization of Black Americans, most of them sharecroppers and tenant farmers. Now, this was before the Universal Negro Improvement Association came along. Most accounts, however, suggest the total was closer to 400,000 or 500,000 members. In any case, the CFNACU was indisputably the largest African-American organization of its time. While its local leaders were African-American, the state and regional organizers were largely white. While its local leaders were Black, the state and regional organizers were largely white, headed by the white founder, Reverend Humphrey, who was general superintendent. Whites were able to organize openly in places where African Americans would be physically attacked. The CFNACU was a self-help organization that encouraged members to work hard and sacrifice to uplift themselves. Some state chapters raised money to keep Black public schools open for longer terms, founded academies, and solicited funds to help the sick and disabled. This is cooperative economics. This is our history. We don't understand our history. And a people's history and culture teaches them how to deal with the problems of the past in the present and the future to meet the needs of the community. This is one of the reasons why understanding your history and culture is so important. African history and culture gives us our foundation. It gives us our VIPs, our values, our interests, and our principles. Our values, our interests, and our principles. This influences our economic empowerment and our political empowerment. Okay, and you know, I talked about before, what you do for yourself, what you do to yourself, and what you allow other people to do to you and get away with is based upon what you think about yourself. What you think about yourself is based upon what you have been taught about yourself. Okay, so we have to understand why this is so important. Every other ethnic group in this country, for the most part, they have their history and culture intact, and they use it to fight for scarce wealth, power, and resources. They use it to fight for scarce wealth, power, and resources. They're using cultural mechanisms, cultural strategies to fight for scarce wealth, power, and resources that they brought from their homelands here. Largely, we have been cut off from those mechanisms that we use coming from Africa, like the co-ops, the cooperatives, the SUSU. We've been largely cut off from that, and we're trying to emulate, okay, white business models. And that doesn't work for us in general. Okay, Toya, how you doing, Toya? Also, if you like this type of information, be sure to register for the online courses that I teach. We have them all on demand. We have them in the 10-course online bundle pack. They're on sale $40, regularly $130. They include ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. That's a 14-hour, 7-session online course that I teach. We deal with thousands of years of history. And it also includes Great African Women in History, the Mothers of Civilization, an online class I did dealing with the film Black Panther. So that's available at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. It's all on demand. Watch at your own pace. Watch all around the world. We'll post a link here also. Okay, so some state chapters raise money to keep Black public schools open for longer terms, founded academies, and solicited funds to help the sick and disabled. In many ways, the Colored Farmers National Alliance and Cooperative Union was another mutual aid society, but it was also formed to increase Black political participation. It was also formed to increase Black political participation, and it advocated a political agenda. So I was just on the panel with hip hop artist, Grammy Award-winning hip hop artist and actor David Banner. We're going to share the exclusive interview I did with him. We'll share that on our show, on our Sunday night show. I was on the panel with David Banner, Michi X, Jice Johnson, Derek Martin, and it was hosted by Shay J. Okay, and it was the Black Agenda Tour 2019. It started off in Detroit. It's a 7-city tour. It's going to Washington, D.C., Brooklyn, New York, Atlanta, Georgia, Chicago. And what the tour is talking about is understanding how to put together a African-American political agenda that incorporates economics, politics, all these things. This is what they were doing in 1886, the early 1890s. But it was also formed to increase Black political participation, and it advocated a political agenda. It often mirrored its white counterpart, the Southern Farmers Alliance. The Southern Farmers Alliance was a branch of the National Farmers Alliance and Industrial Union, referred to as the Southern Alliance. So it often mirrored its white counterpart, the Southern Farmers Alliance, in terms of philosophy and program, supporting most of the same policies. For example, in 1890, the Colored Farmers National Alliance Cooperative Union, CFNACU, also supported policies that the Southern Alliance did not, such as the Lodge Election Bill to provide federal protection to safeguard voting rights in the South, and the 1891 Cotton Pickers Strike. The 1891 Cotton Pickers Strike. Okay. And then in 1890, the CFNACU supported the Southern Alliance's sub-treasury plan, hoping that it would provide low interest loans for farmers and high prices for agricultural produce. While some Black members owned small farms, many were sharecroppers and field hands on white plantations. The Colored Farmers National Alliance and Cooperative Union urged members to improve their farming methods and learn new techniques, purchase their own land and homes, and improve their education. It promoted collectivizing resources. Quote, before being violently suppressed, the Colored Farmers Alliance advocated the expansion of land ownership and the creation of cooperative stores designed to pool, P-O-O-L, pool African-American resources while boycotting stores owned by planters or allied merchants and commissaries. Now, branchers established exchanges, which were cooperative stores, warehouses, and credit outlets in the ports of Norfolk, Charleston, Mobile, New Orleans, and Houston, Texas, where members could buy goods and buy goods at reduced prices and borrow money from the organization to buy land and equipment or pay off a loan. See, this is, I mean, this is what we're doing in the late 1880s, early 1890s. But that's cooperative economics. That's our history. We don't understand our history, okay? What you do for yourself, what you do to yourself, and what you allow other people to do to you and get away with is based upon what you think about yourself. We don't understand our history. This is why this is extremely important, okay? So be sure to listen to our show tonight. We'll broadcast on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network. Follow us on Facebook, The African History Network. Turn on the notifications so you know when we go live. We're going to post the information here for the online courses that I teach. They're all on demand. Watch at your own pace, okay? Watch from around the world. You can stream it from around the world. It's on sale, $40, regularly $130. It includes the 14-hour, seven-session online course I teach, Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they that Dr. Welsing did, dealing with the crest theory of racism and surviving racism in the 21st century. So on our May 19th, 2019 edition of the African History Network show, we'll talk some about the 95th anniversary of Malcolm X. You see me with my Malcolm X